we are at the Indian Creek Zoo on the Pirrone Prieur show. It's going to be a
Paulie.
great day. Got Al Prieur.
And
Big
we've
Al.
got Greg Moore with us today. County Commissioner.
County Commissioner Greg Moore.
Hey guys, how you doing?
Outstanding realtor.
Oh, well,
Yes.
thank you.
Going to do a quick shout out to our sponsors, Pirrone Insurance. Amazing company.
Family owned.
Just checked them out last year. Switched my insurance and saving quite a bit of money on my house and my car insurance. So they've been around a long time, since the 1930s.
I know, in the 1930s, they're like one of the oldest businesses in Bedford.
Yeah.
And the other thing that with Barron's Insurance, if you're looking for business coverage like workman's comp, general liability, commercial auto, give them a call.
Yeah.
Because they're an independent agency. They'll get you the best rates.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just had a personal experience with them to where one of my clients, we were writing an offer and we needed a quote on flood insurance. And if anyone knows anything about the real estate market now, it has to move fast. They got us a quote out in about 2 hours.
Yeah.
That's
back to my
quick.
client. So I love Barron Insurance. They're good.
Then we got Jacob's Supply. I think most of the zoo's made up of Jacob's Supply materials.
That's
But anything you need for your home, check them out first. They're local.
Yeah.
They have a lot of stuff that you wouldn't think they would have, but they have it. Tile, appliances,
Windows.
flooring, anything. Just give them a call.
Well, and the thing is, too, he's got some people that work with him that actually do customer service. You can walk in there. You're not like the big box stores I always talk about. You can't ever find anything, or you can't find somebody to help you.
Oh, no, they're on it when you walk in there.
Oh,
yeah.
Boom. What do you need? Oh, yeah, we've got this over here. And no, I've had
then
nothing but good
I
experience.
just bought
with
a top of the line $1,000 dishwasher, Samsung dishwasher there for $350.
I know, isn't that incredible?
1 year warranty, is working beautiful,
Yeah.
even dries the dishes for me.
Oh, dries them up.
Dries them too, man. That's why we upgraded.
And then we've got the Indian Creek
Got
Zoo.
tired of using the towel, huh?
Yeah.
We've got the
I got
old
time for
Indian
that.
Creek Zoo, yeah? Or did I just say the Indian Creek Zoo?
No, we're at the Indian
we're
Creek
At
Zoo.
the Indian Creek
That's
Zoo.
right.
Yeah.
Come check them out. They've got some cool stuff here. We've
So
got a
much to
bird.
do
We've
at
got
the
a
zoo.
bird. Right
Exactly.
there. He's walking.
Yeah,
Check him out.
when I was pulling in here, there
You
was
thought it was Al.
there was a no,
That's
not,
in a bear cage.
not the bird, but I was pulling in and there was a lady in a new Bronco, and I said I like that new Bronco, and then we got talking, and where are you from? Gross Eel. She came down from just to come to Indian Creek Zoo.
Yeah.
She'd saw some of the pictures on Facebook.
Down
There's people
river.
making the drive from 2-3 hours away, man. This is a cool spot.
Huge
we have here in
economic
Bedford.
development.
Yeah.
Huge,
I
huge.
probably know her. I'm at Downriver.
Yeah.
Oh, gosh.
Probably
yeah.
know everyone
Going
down
on
river.
being a
That's right.
downriver guy.
There we go.
Okay, we go. So those are our sponsors.
Yeah.
Thank them. The show wouldn't be possible without them. So our show really is just to be out in the community, show you what's going on, talk to business owners, the struggles, and Greg's one of them. He's an interesting guy. He's the county commissioner, has been for this is your third term,
Yep.
and he is a real estate broker,
Yep.
owner,
Yep.
and he just started last year a really cool podcast called Dead Man Walking. Dead Men.
Dead Men Walking
Not Dead
podcast.
Man.
Yeah.
Dead Men Walking.
Yeah.
And they talk about some pretty cool stuff. So their focus
So
is obviously
is
on
it like a zombie show, or what are we talking about
don't
here?
know-
Because I'm ready, man. I'll put one in the heart to somebody. Go ahead.
Although I am prepared for the zombie apocalypse,
Good.
I'm ready for that. No, it's kind of a play on words. It's a doctrine and theology podcast. We also talk about culture and politics as well. Basically, a biblical worldview on how you can live life and all those things that touch it. And it's a play on Ephesians too. You were once dead in your trespasses, but then raised to life in priestly places and kingly places on Ephesians 2. So, dead men walking, kind of a play on dead in your sins, alive in Christ. But, we looked around and we said, there's only 250 million podcasts. I think the world needs one more.
Yeah.
Right.
So during
250 million one.
right? So
You know, the thing is with Greg, I've known him for how long we know each other? 4 years now?
Yeah, 4 or
3,
5
4
years.
now?
Yeah.
This dude knows the Bible. I mean, he knows a
I
lot
would-
about
I would
scripture.
agree.
I
I would
mean,
agree. I
you
would
ask
call
him
him a
something, even if he
scholar.
doesn't know, he would make you think
That's
that he
right.
knows. because
Exactly.
He'll just talk about it.
I just talk about it. Hey, I appreciate you saying that, but man, you stand on the shoulders of giants, right? I mean, you read the word, you have great men and women who've come before us and teach on stuff, and I really like talking about it and studying it. And I know when we've had our Bible studies, Paul and Al, we've talked about some really cool stuff. But I think every believer is really called to that, to enjoy talking about, the Bible and theology and who God is and why we're here. I just find that stuff interesting, very philosophical.
Well, same here.
And whether or not you can lose your faith.
Whether or not you could lose your faith.
Yeah, we had that discussion.
Just had that discussion yesterday with someone, actually. Yeah.
Well, it's one of them things that Christians talk about. It's like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I just, this could sound controversial, but for me, I believe in eternal security. That's what I believe the Bible preaches. I believe it teaches that. I don't think Christ is insufficient. I don't think there's one sin or one thing that you can do that can make you lose your salvation. John 6 and John 21 is very clear. He says, everyone that the Father puts in the palm of my hand, I will
using
hold.
the Lord's name in vain?
What about it?
Doesn't it say something in the Bible if you use my name in vain?
It says don't do it.
Don't do it.
But I would submit that the
If
second...
you're doing that, you don't truly have.
I mean, Moses was a murderer. David was an adulterer. Were they saved? Did they lose their security? I don't think so. I think eternal security and having salvation doesn't mean that we can go on sinning. Paul says, should we keep sinning so grace may abound? Well, heavens no, right?
So the argument that that is always had is, if you give your life to the Lord, you're saved. Okay?
Yeah.
But if you give your life to the Lord and you go on living your life as you always have,
Sure.
and you make no change in your life, show no fruit, show no signs that you really did give your life,
Yeah.
did you really get saved?
That's
Did you really mean it when you gave your life
Well,
to the Lord?
I think that question will be asked when you depart.
Yeah. I mean, it's
You'll
really
know at the
hard.
end.
It's really one of the things, though, because
Right.
Scripture says if you ask
That's
my name,
Sure.
you shall receive.
Well, you have to
know,
realize when they were in front of Peter and they said, what must we do to be saved? He just didn't say, repeat a prayer and believe. He said, believe. Well, the first thing he said was repent, believe, and be baptized. So repent is a big part of that. Repentance means heading in the opposite direction of what you once were going.
Exactly.
So if you're heading in a direction in your life, you say a prayer, oh, I believe in Jesus. Okay, well, Satan believes in Jesus. He knew who Christ was. He tempted him and said, bow before me and I'll give you everything that's been given to me on earth here. So even Satan understands who Christ is. A head knowledge of who Christ isn't the true proof of a regenerated life or a saved life, right? It's the actual outward works of what you're doing. And James talks about an alive faith versus a dead faith. He says, you show me someone who's professed with their mouth but has no works to back it up, well, that's a dead faith. An alive faith produces works.
but it's still faith.
What's that?
It might be a dead faith, but
Right.
it's still faith.
Sure. But I mean, people
Because,
have
I mean,
faith
it
in
just-
everything.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, do you have faith in gravity? Of course you do. You use it all the time. You know that if you go to the top of a building and jump off, you have faith that you are going to fall 10 stories down to the ground, therefore you don't do it. So
Yeah, I
it's-
just know many people in my circle, not
Yeah.
my churchly circle, but my circle of people I know, that at some point in time they've asked Jesus in their heart. They were even baptized, but show zero fruit.
Yeah.
Not that you have to
But see, I
attend
always
church,
look at that. That's our humanistic side, and that's where you have to make that choice at some point to say, okay, it's just like if you're a Catholic, you're baptized,
Yeah.
sin's gone, okay, but you have to make a choice to say, am I going to follow that doctrine? Am I going to research it? Is this what I want to do? And I think that's the problem. Is a lot of people, they don't follow it. They'll say, okay, yeah, I believe in Jesus. I believe in God. Okay, well, you might. But what have you done to study that? What have you done to open your heart? What are your eyes? And I think that's
Yeah.
where, that's the hard part with people, because they don't, religion is usually, let's say, forced on them by a family member in a sense.
Sure.
When we're growing up, if your mom and dad's Catholic, you don't
usually
walk in
Catholic,
today when I'm 10 years old and say, hey, Mom, I think I want to be Jewish today.
Right. It can happen, but
It
usually
could.
doesn't.
That's why I'm a firm believer, is that as you grow, that's where you have to study your faith and take a look, and you have to make
But
those
as parents,
decisions.
we give our kids a base.
You give them guidance.
give them a base,
You give them
and
that
because-
base. You
my
give them the
kids,
guidance.
You know, in the beginning, they didn't have a choice. They were going to church. They were going
Right.
to Royal Rangers. They were
And
going
most
to
of us are like that.
girls ministry. They were going.
Right.
You know what I mean? For my family, that's what we do. We do church and we do it well.
Yeah.
You know, but now, if you told my kids we're not going to church, they'd be
Right.
like, Mr. Greg, can you come pick me up?
Pick us up.
I mean, they would figure it out. They want to go to
But
church.
they're
It's
getting
part of their
old.
life.
But they're getting older, so they're understanding more.
Yeah.
That's the important thing is they're understanding why are they going.
Yeah. Well, and it's biblical
Because they
too.
get to rollerblade in the parking lot after church.
Well, a lot of it when you're younger
they
is
enjoy
social,
that stuff.
right,
right? Is social. But it's also important to root your children in a firm foundation of the Lord and who it is. But so that's the kind of stuff we talk about.
So that's the podcast.
That's pretty good.
Well,
Dead
some
Men
of it.
Walking.
Well, yeah.
Check them out.
We talk about other stuff
Subscribe
too.
to it.
I know you've been on the podcast, Paul,
Yeah,
and we appreciate you coming on and talking with us, and especially being a locally elected official with what's going on. And we even see in our community, like the stuff that you do, even the simple things of being able to have prayer before you open up your township meetings, which, I think some people didn't want. Most people wanted it, but it was something that you fought for and made sure that, if our House of Representatives and Congress and our county and everything can do it,
I
I think we
remember-
can do it too.
And it can be
I
on your
remember
currency.
Beginning of my, or when I was an end of a trustee, I remember this older gentleman that came to one of our board meetings, and he had a ball cap on. He had to have been in his 80s. He said, I wish we could bring God back into our community. And that stuck with me. I'm like, man, we've got to do something. As government officials, you do have to watch what you do, but we could pray before meetings.
Sure.
And I took grief about that. You know what I mean? It wasn't.
Well, just
it
look
wasn't
at
as
look at
easy as,
society overall. They want no religion or anything anywhere in schools and so on.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sorry, it's been here for how many thousands of years?
Yeah.
You can't ignore it.
Look at. Make no mistake. People who don't want religion or atheists or people who are secularists, they have a religion. They just don't call it Christianity or Muslim or Buddhist or Judaism. Their religion is the state. It's secularism.
Right.
The religion now is masks and vaccine and state regulation. That's the religion. When you remove God from a country, it's just not a vacuum in space. It has to be replaced with something. So now you see through virtue signaling of, well, I do this, I do that, I obey the state. That's the new religion in the United States. Christianity is not, I don't know if it's persecuted, but it's definitely not privileged anymore. So people who say, oh, I don't want a religion, ipso facto, you have a religion. You're just choosing statism as your religion, secularism
Exactly.
as your religion. You're going to worship something, the Bible says. It's either going
Money,
to be God or
greed,
it's going to be
power.
man, right? So this nonsense of, well, we just don't want any religion. It's like, well, you just don't want a certain religion. You are going to worship something.
Right.
And I think that's where we are right now in this country. We're seeing a cultural shift to that, which, like I said, we talk about culture on the podcast too. We've had social media directors on. We've had Christian comics on. I mean, people who are affecting the culture. We want to talk to them too and say, well, how do you live your life out in a biblical worldview in a culture that seems to be going in a direction that's so anti-biblical, right? I mean, that's tough to do. I mean, it's tough in both of your guys' positions too, just to make sure that you're standing on principle and character and all those things in public life, as well as private life. But those are some of the things that we talk about. I know people tune in and they go, geez, we think like doctrine and theology and all these things are boring, and it's just two guys just trying to work through the Bible and have fun, and we joke a lot. And I don't know, I think it's a good time, and we try to keep them to 40 minutes now, so.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, talk to us about your real estate. I mean, it is insane right
Yeah,
now
what's
with
going
real
on?
estate.
I mean, it's like low
I bought a
inventory
house
and
through you a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
And I'm like, Stephanie, let's sell. We can get $60,000 more for the house. She's like, where the heck are we going to go?
Right,
I'm like,
that's
I
the
don't know,
hard
we'll
part.
sleep in the camper in somebody's backyard for a little while. I don't know.
That is so.
And then she smacked me,
Yeah,
and that
right.
thought
Well,
went away. But
that's
talk to us,
good.
yeah.
She needs to keep you in line. I
Oh, she
support
does.
all
She
Paul
does,
Pirrone
yeah.
smacks from Stephanie.
Yeah.
So exactly what you just said is what it is. People are like, I could make so much money. I got some equity in this house. Where the heck am I going to go?
Right.
Yeah.
Where that you can't go anywhere. The inventory is so low. And then so what happens is people go, okay, I'm not going to sell. I'll hold on. I'll wait till everything settles down. Well, guess what happens? That pushes the prices up because all the potential people that would have sold are holding, and now that pushes inventory down. And it's this horrible vicious cycle we've been in. And then compound that with COVID and supply issues and lumber issues and concrete and steel. Everything's through the roof on raw materials.
Oh, it
so
is.
builders can't keep up. I just got a note from the Michigan Association of Realtors that said, if you're buying the average new build, if you're building a house right now, buyers just beware, just for lumber, we're going to tack on another $14,000 on
Exactly.
average. Just for lumber.
And you don't get
Not
anything
concrete.
more
I
for
talked
it.
to Scott Bullen yesterday.
It's the
It was
same.
double that.
Right.
It's like watching the stock market with
Yeah.
lumber and raw
And
material prices.
we've
right
gone through this same period before, and that's what happens. And then all of a sudden, you get that bubble that's going to break, and then it will. And because what happens is you'll get to a point where you'll have low interest rates, people get into a house, and then if something happens financially, they'll say, you know what, I'll just walk away.
Yeah.
And-
No, it happened before.
Yeah,
for
and
sure.
it did before, and that's what we really need to avoid in terms of this country, because what's going on in real estate here is also going in other parts of the country.
Oh, everywhere. It's not just
right.
here.
It's not
everywhere.
isolated. It's,
No, it's to the point now to where I had an offer that I did a $25,000 over list offer, guaranteed money. So if the appraisal came in low, we would guarantee over the appraisal. So essentially, we're going to pay more than what an appraiser is saying the house is worth. And I was outbid by a cash offer. And this was about 6 months ago. And I just went, who's walking around with $300,000 cash in Monroe County for a house? Now, there are some people, but generally at that level, your cash offer is about 1%, right?
Right.
This happened 3 times in 6 months. Then I realized this is what they're doing. This is how bad it is out there. Lenders are allowing the actual buyer or a buyer's family member to go basically rob their 401k, pull out the cash, pay cash for the house,
And then
go back and refi, do a 90% to loan value on the house. They take a 10% penalty, replace the money back in the 401k for 10% penalty, and then in their minds they justify and they say that 10% penalty is like my 20% down payment, and then that's right.
So I kind of, when I bought my house, I kind of did that too. My dad let me use his home equity line of credit.
Right. Sure.
I didn't have to pay all the fees, you
Yeah.
know, for
No,
and then I just
absolutely.
paid it. I took out my own home equity line after
Yeah.
we closed and paid him back.
I've never seen people pulling out of the 401k and
Yeah,
then
that's
doing a
crazy.
refinance
Right.
loan for cash to value. Usually you finance a home. You don't refinance as soon as you buy it. And the appraisers, the market's moving so quick, the appraisers can justify the value.
Right.
But like you were saying, Al, we're getting back to pre-2008.
Exactly.
All right? So anyone with a modicum of common sense or understanding of how money works or understanding of how man's heart works, honestly, we are verifying income off of COVID payments. We're verifying income off of unemployment.
Right.
That can't last.
Well,
no,
when I can count a stimulus check as my normal income
Right.
to buy a house,
That's something wrong with that.
that's not good. And we're getting back to
But
that
it's
point.
a perfect storm though for some people.
Yeah.
Some people have received more money last year than they've ever received in their life.
Yeah.
Right.
And you have 2% interest rates.
Yeah.
They got some families of 5 got an extra $25,000 last year.
Yeah.
And you could get an extra 20, 30, 40, 50,000 for your home.
I talked to a professional
You know,
person. He
it's
got
crazy.
laid off, and he said, Al, I'm not worried about looking for a job right now because I make $900 a week between the
Sure.
supplement and his
Yeah.
unemployment. He goes, I don't have a real incentive. He goes, as I get closer to the exhausting benefits, he goes, I'll get more serious about looking for a job.
Here's what scares me, and I just pray that people have discernment and wisdom to be prepared for this. 2022 is going to be an insane year because you're going to see the ripple effect of all this $6 trillion
exactly.
of debt that we just incurred.
Right.
We're going to see it in the cost of goods sold. So right now we subsidize meat as a country, we subsidize sugar as a country, we subsidize the dairy agriculture as a country to keep those prices artificially low so I can go into a store and go, oh, I paid $2 for the gallon of milk.
Right.
If we didn't subsidize ground beef, it would be $30 a pound. That's the market value of ground beef. Right now we keep it down to about $3 to $5 falsely, right, by subsidizing it. So with the COVID disruptions and the supply line,
grass-fed.
Right. You're going to be $8 to $10 there, and even that is subsidized by the federal government. So what's going to happen in 2022? You're going to see $6 trillion worth of debt pumped into fiat money, right?
Yep. Which
Which is a horrible idea anyway. Let's just print more money, right? It's like when you're playing Monopoly as a kid, and you steal a couple extra 500s and put it under your,
Right.
your
I
lap.
never
It's
did
like-
that.
I know you did.
But
that.
there was a
My
day in
brother.
this country we only printed what we could back.
We're going to see 30 to 40%
Right.
increases in raw material and costs, and it's going to hurt people bad.
Well, it's like,
And-
Greg, you and I were talking. It's like the lumber situation. There is so much lumber between the United States and Canada.
Yeah.
They grow this like crops. There's no reason OSB board should be what it is.
Yeah.
But let's have a little.
It's junk wood pressed
Yeah.
together with glue.
Yeah. Let's have a little trade war. Let's get a little tit for tat, and next
Yeah.
thing you know, it's going sky high. And then every time that you go ahead, a house, the price goes up, you knock out X amount of buyers, whether
Yeah.
new or used, that won't be able to go in that price range.
Yeah.
And I hate to tell you, Monroe County, this is not Oakland County.
Yeah, we're pricing ourselves out of the middle class right now in
Exactly.
Monroe County. That's the scary thing. And we talked about this on the podcast as well. I actually turn people away sometimes when I go to a listing appointment, and I'll go, it's just not the time to sell for you. I know I could sell their house in a day. I could probably make a $5,000 to $7,000
Right.
check, and they're just and I'm not their financial planner, but I go, look, if I sell your house, you're not going to have a place to live. You've got cost of good going up next year. Please have discernment about just not trying. You know what I mean? And Jason, my co-host, he laughs. He goes, "You're the only realtor that won't sell houses for people." And I just go, "Look at, I know what's coming, and I don't want people to get caught up. And look at, we can make an extra 50 grand.
Right.
Well, look at when cost of goods sold go up 50%. How long is that 50 grand going to last? And you don't have a place to live, and now you're renting an apartment because the inventory's so low.
Exactly. The thing that I learned from a very wise guy in real estate who's been in it since 1967.
Yeah,
Your house is supposed to be your shelter first.
yeah,
Do not bank on it to be your lifelong investment. Don't
Yeah.
bank on any of it because, first of all, it's shelter. Now, if you get to live in your home, which he told me,
Yeah.
and you can get all your money back,
yeah.
when you sell it one day, you did pretty good.
Did pretty good. Yeah.
Yeah.
It-
You lived in a place for free.
Exactly. And we forget
That's
those
pretty good.
principles that
Yeah.
were, it's like, wait a minute, it's shelter first,
Yeah.
investment secondary. And what is your compelling reason to move? Now, if I'm living in a 2-bedroom house and I got 6 kids and I need a 5-bedroom home, I have a compelling reason to move, right? I might be like, we just have to move.
Yeah.
But when people start to speculate, that's when the bubble happens.
Yeah. Well, Warren Buffett famously said, "When people are greedy, be fearful, and when people
Yep.
are fearful, be greedy." And there's something to that.
Exactly.
And I would just say, for me, the Lord released me 5 or 6 years ago of comparison and kind of the rat race. I was always, hey, got to be in the top, looking at left and right, my neighbors, what do they have? I want the nicest and best. And about 6 years ago, I just went, what am I doing? Right? You don't need the nicest car. You don't need what is all that? If we're just stewards of these things that God has given us,
Right.
What's the point of working 60 hours a week, not seeing my kids, having a rough relationship with my wife to what? Have things? Right? So my advice, and what we talk about on the podcast sometimes too when we're talking about real estate and these things is, be content with what you have. If you are a single man making $34,000, you're in the global 1%. We are so blessed in this country beyond what we can even imagine until we go to other parts of the world and see real poverty. Man, comparison is the thief of joy. We really just need to be content with what we have, live within our means, right?
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing.
It sounds like a Dave Ramsey thing, but get rid of your debt, live within your means, and bless God at everything that you do.
When you make, obviously, I'm not a double family income, but
Yeah.
when you make $40,000 or $50,000 a year, all you have to do is be frugal.
Yeah.
In other areas, fix your own car.
Yeah.
Instead of buying something, look on the Buy Nothing Bedford Facebook page and lose your pride and be able to take something for free.
And
those are the things you do, and it
Yeah.
makes up in the end.
That's like if I need something, I call Pirrone and say, Pirrone, when you're out in them neighborhoods scouring, let me know if you got a lawnmower.
I'll tell you what, and that's been a blessing in my life is my wife, Samantha. I mean, she is a Proverbs 31, wise, intelligent. I mean, Stephanie's the same way. Her and Stephanie talk all the time. They know where to get the deal, how to be frugal. I know the producer there sitting. I know her sitting behind the camera there. I know she's the same way because I've talked to her husband. It's like the Lord has blessed all of us sitting in this room with such wise women that are both helpmates and understanding on how to navigate finances and family and all those things. I look at that every day and I just go, yeah, if it was up to me, I mean, like if I have the kids for 3 days, it's like pizza and movies for 3 days. My wife's like, what is, you know what I mean? Like cook something. You can't live on pizza. And it's like, oh, but I like coupons. It's like, no.
What comes from a can? What can I open?
Well, these can of beans are only 59 cents, honey. They ate beans for 3 days,
My grandsons are always like, he doesn't know how to cook. I do too. I'll make you scrambled eggs. Or
Right.
we'll call out. What
Yeah.
do we need?
Oh, man. So, yeah, real estate's crazy to get back to the point. But you want to know what? If you're interested in buying or selling, I'll do the best I can for you. Give me a call, and we can figure something out. I do like to – my motto is kind of walk people from start to finish. And I'm proud that 4 of my past clients have become realtors. At the end of it, I said, you should be a realtor. I like your, I like the cut of your jib. And then, people go, well, why would you create more realtors if you're a realtor? I'm like, we need more good ones.
Yeah,
Let's weed out the bad ones. Let's get more good ones in there.
Well,
Corey was one of them. Corey Welch, a great realtor.
Oh, dude,
sold his
I
house
like
4
Corey.
years ago. He should be a realtor. He's killing it right now, and he's helping people and doing such a great job. And I'm so proud of that. I don't see that as competition. I see that as another guy in the industry who's helping people. Because that's really
and the
what
thing
you
with
do
the
as a
real
realtor.
estate industry, you get a lot of part-timers in there, and they'll fall off.
Yeah.
The good ones
gotta be all
are
in there.
full-time. You got to be all in.
Well,
you
it's
got to have some
nonstop.
passion.
It's
If
anything.
you're a good realtor, it's
Right.
nonstop.
We've
People
had
are
some
calling
part-time
you-
supervisors, all right?
People are calling you on
Not
Sunday.
anymore. No, I'm saying I was making,
Yeah.
from years past. We've had part-time anything.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? You almost you do have to be fully invested. I think that goes back to what we were talking earlier about our walk with the Lord, too. Like, you can't be part-time on that either.
Exactly.
You know? It's like fully invested, man.
Well, that's like I was saying. It's for me and my family, we decided we're not going to do sports.
Yeah.
But, I mean, if the kids want to do something, they could pick
It's
one
fine,
thing.
right.
But we're going to do church and do it really well.
Right.
We're going to be involved in everything. We're going to make sure we're at every camp out and every girls'
Yep.
ministry. That way we're doing one thing really well.
Yeah.
And it's been a blessing, for us.
What I
being
find with
involved.
kids, if your kids want to play sports, they're going to play sports.
Yeah.
The parents who sit there and
Why'd you
force
say
them,
that like a mobster? What
Yeah,
was that?
'cause I-
You won't play sports,
Right.
your kids go
Yeah,
play
he
sports.
plays sports.
All right.
He gets like
we'll
that.
get him into something.
Exactly.
Tony will hook him up.
Exactly.
He gets like
No,
that.
you're right, though.
So then you
They
have
naturally
the,
gravitate
then you,
towards that.
Right.
then you have the
Yeah.
county commissioner, Greg.
Yeah.
So you got three big things. Obviously, you got your family.
And
That's
most
first.
important.
Right.
But you've got your county commissioner seat that you do very good at, very
I
involved.
appreciate that.
Unfortunately,
county commissioner-
unfortunately, our board didn't let you stay involved.
That's okay.
That's
That's
okay.
okay. We'll do some other
Honestly,
things.
it was a blessing in disguise. About 5 other ones right now that are taking up some time, but that's their right.
Yeah,
That's the way I looked at it.
So
What
how's
you
things
wanna
going with
do,
the
right?
county? I mean, it's a lot of changes. You got a new sheriff. We just had
Oh,
him
my
on
gosh.
our last podcast. So I mean, some cool things going on.
Honestly, and with the sheriff, I mean, I just get people calling me going, yeah, we absolutely love what he's been doing in the first couple months. Like, so responsive, open communication, very transparent.
Well, what I wanted to tell Troy is that my brother-in-law called me up and he says, Al, I got a ticket. And I said, yeah, we now have enforcement
Yeah.
in Bedford. So I said, watch
Yeah.
out. I said,
But at the county, it's running rather smoothly. I mean, for the last 8 years, we've been pretty fiscally conservative with the budget for things like this. To where, during COVID last year, we were giving out bonuses to employees who were first responders just because we could, because we're in a sound fiscal spot. The big thing on the board right now is with the sheriff, we're switching to 12-hour shifts. We're kind of reorganizing some contracts. We just have a tentative agreement we're voting on this Tuesday with the rest of the officers. But really what we're looking at is that state of emergency, which we just renewed for 90 more days. That is a whole, we've got state and then county and then township as
that's so
autonomous
confusing.
and making them work all together. If we were to not do the state of emergency last meeting, then it's like Bedford Township. You guys are one of the more popular townships. Where
Right.
you might get 30, 40 people in person, right? Under the state rules, you have to socially distance 6 foot.
Right.
And if you don't, you're in violation of that executive order.
Well, you got the
Setting
Open
up a room
Meetings
now, we
Act.
can only have like 15.
so now you can only have 15. So now 20 people show up to your meeting. Guess what? You have to turn them away. Well, now you're violating
can't
the open.
turn them away. You
you're
have to
open-
adjourn, yeah.
You're now violating the Open Meetings Act. So
Right.
it's this weird thing where we have executive orders, where we have laws conflicting with each other. Unfortunately, I think that rolls up to the governor. I think she, if I look at it, she's an intelligent person. I think she did it on purpose to force local municipalities to stay in a state of emergency.
Right.
Because you don't want to turn away people from a public meeting. I mean, you
No.
can't. They're elected
Well,
officials.
Well, the
You
thing
have
is
to-
when you have a public meeting, if you have people show up, you have to adjourn.
Right. Well, if you can't
if you can accommodate
Right.
them, because
So
you
now
can't put
you've-
them in another room with a TV. They have to
Right.
be in the room with
You're
you.
100% correct.
And if you don't have the number there, if they go over the number, you have to adjourn.
Yeah. So that's one of the reasons why we extended at the county so all the municipalities could keep doing Zoom meetings, because you can only do the Zoom meeting if you're in a state of emergency.
Right.
So it's this weird thing that obviously we've never experienced or been through before. But that's kind of the thing when you get into like executive orders and kind of legislative mandates and fiats versus actual laws is they conflict. And all this stuff's going to get rolled up to the Michigan Supreme Court here in 2021. And I think you're going to see everything kind of settling back down in third quarter. But yeah, I mean, on the county board, though, we're doing pretty good. We're getting through. Monroe County's fiscally sound. Your health department, your sheriff's department, your senior citizens are all funded, so don't worry there. That's the big takeaway I tell people is we're fiscally where we need to be. We have a good rainy day fund, and we're still paying people and giving the services to the taxpayers. So that's
Yeah, because I don't think people really understand on the county level just how costly running the county is. I mean, there's a lot of things they don't really think about.
Yeah.
$55 million budget?
Yeah, 52.
Yeah.
$52 million. So,
But
I mean,
we've
it's a big
streamlined a
budget.
lot
Right.
there too. We've streamlined a lot without really, we don't have to fire anyone. We put more deputies back on the road. Bedford's going to see a few of those because of that, and obviously you guys working in tandem with Sheriff Goodenough. But yeah, you have a lot of county services that people just don't think about.
Right. Or they hear jail. They don't realize how expensive running
Jails
a
are
jail
expensive.
is.
Yeah, well, that's one of the reasons why Monroe County is held up in the nation as one of the mental health authority counties, to where Goodenough, before he became sheriff, was working on this for 6 years, to where, look at, you got a 20-year-old kid that steals $100 worth of items from a retail store. I don't know if 90 days of jail, and maybe he has some mental illness, I don't know if 90 days of jail is his best option.
He's going to do anything for
Maybe
him.
we divert that into a counseling program or a church program or charity, that we're not tying up jail space, and we're not, 90 days to someone in jail when you're young, to someone with a mental illness, that can really do some irreparable harm.
Exactly.
So we've actually been looking at, Monroe County leads in this, and actually diverting to the proper place to true rehabilitation, right? That's the horrible thing, is we say jail is a rehabilitation, but
It's
anyone
not.
who's been in there for any length of time comes out almost inevitably worse, unless they find God, right? Unless they find Christ.
Look at our prison system. It's like that.
It's just rough. So that's another step that we don't even really talk about that often, but we lead Michigan in that. We have federal and state funding. We have work programs through the mental health agencies, and I think that's a real thing, to where yes, it keeps costs down, and that's good, but it also, you're not ruining lives for someone who made one bad mistake when they were younger, or even if they're older.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean?
Exactly.
I'm always in favor of rehabilitation and trying to actually get to the root of the
If we
problem.
get somebody to be productive again in society, you can't beat that.
Absolutely. But overall, yeah, good. We're in good shape at the county.
Cool, man.
How's this podcast going, man? I just have to say, I watch just about every episode when I can catch it. There's a few that I've missed, because I get more information from from you guys on this podcast than I do from my board members. I'm like,
yeah.
Oh, that's going on in Bedford. Oh, that's going
yeah,
on
there
in
you
Monroe.
go.
Like, you guys are on
And
top.
our animal control one we did last week. Did you catch that one?
Oh no, I skipped that one.
Yeah.
Just kidding. I didn't get that one. I don't know the joke there. You guys keep bringing it up, so I just figured I'll roll with it.
It was a much needed show. That
It was
we need
much
to do it
needed.
for, but
Much needed.
It's because, is that a jab at Al or something? I don't.
No,
No,
we
it was just a little boring show. But it was good. It was good. It was
No
good.
We had a
show
lot
is
of good
boring
info.
when Al and Paul are
That's
here. Okay.
Well, animal control, we could have probably had some chicken fights or something, but we didn't. We just-
Chicken fights.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Well, honestly, though, animal control is one of those ones where it gets no glory, but it's so important.
Well,
it
it
is.
is.
It's like your garbage man. Like, if he goes away tomorrow, we're all in big
Everybody's
trouble. If
panicking,
animal
right?
control goes away, we know we're dealing with a thing right now in Bedford Township.
Right, with cats.
With cats. And it's going to be animal control that comes in and gets tens or hundreds of cats, depending. They're all having kittens right now. We could be up to 200 by the end of the month. And animal control isn't it fun?
Well, yeah, and we had to let people know. They deal with horses, they deal with
all
goats,
kinds of stuff.
all kinds of stuff that they have to get
yeah.
involved in.
And I would say under Sheriff Goodenough has been much more open and transparent and communicating much better with us
Yeah.
too, even
No,
animal
for
control,
sure.
which is good.
Well, cool, man. Well, thanks for being on again.
Yeah.
We love having you. It's
Oh, we wrapping up already? All right.
We're getting pretty close. We're getting
Okay.
pretty close. We're
All
going
right.
to give a quick couple of things going on in the community. But
Yep.
anything else you want to?
No. I appreciate you guys having me on.
Yeah, we always love having you.
Like I said, keep doing this because you're one of the. I mean, I can't remember the last time not only a locally elected official, but obviously someone who's a pillar in your community. You guys have done something like this to keep people up to date on what's going on in the community, and it shows, man. Like when you guys go live, or when you used to go live, I don't know if you still do. I mean, it was like hundreds of people, and then by the next day, it's thousands of people watching it. I mean, you guys have a voice, so what you're doing is important. So I just encourage you to keep doing
cool.
it. Keep bringing people, this kind of good
So
information.
something we're going to start doing, and we'll have some guests on do with. We're going to start doing pizza reviews.
Oh,
Yeah.
do it.
Pizza reviews. One bite, everybody knows the rules. No, not one.
I think that's copyrighted. You might not wanna say
We're not
that.
going to do one bite.
El Presidente might not like that.
But we are going to do some food reviews, do some wings. We're going to
Yeah.
do some burgers. You
You
know,
guys gonna keep it local, like
keep
Yeah.
it local.
Oh,
Keep it
that's
local.
awesome.
Keep it local.
That is awesome.
But yeah, so cool.
Well, here I brought you guys some Dead Men Walking Field notebooks.
Is the value over
Take one of
$25?
those.
I
like that.
No, it isn't. Those are
I can
$1.15,
accept
so
this
you're
if
good.
the
You can
value's
accept
not
it.
over $25.
I got one for your producers as well too. But guys, thanks for having me on and
Thanks for coming, Greg.
and talking. This is a fun show, and I love that we're live. And we've got, if you've heard that sound in the background, how awesome is that? What kind of bird is that?
That's
back
a
there?
rivet bird because it sounds like a
rivet bird.
rivet.
Al can make
Okay.
the same noise.
No, I'm just pulling your.
In the
You
morning.
guys have no
He does
clue
it
what
now.
that
That's the
bird
noise
is.
Al makes in the morning getting out of bed.
That's what happens when you get old.
So, Al, you want to talk about our community cleanup?
Yeah, we've got our
and,
hazardous household.
waste? Why am I petting the
waste day.
zebra?
I don't know. It's not
It was a
moving.
little
Paul.
weird.
Sitting here holding,
yeah.
I'm like petting his
looking
home.
at
His
It's
baby.
not. Yeah, it's not live.
I have a dog now, so it's like I always have a dog.
Yeah,
next to me.
But that's going to be held on June 16th from 3 to 7 over at Indian Creek Park by the bus garage. It's sponsored by Monroe County Health Department. One of those great things that they do for us. Get on their website. It'll say what you can take. You can get on our Facebook, get on our website, the different things you can bring or can't bring. They'll also do document shredding. No businesses, though,
Yeah.
for document shredding.
And then community cleanup. We're budgeting that.
Yep.
Hopefully it's budgeted, and then we're going to do that in the fall. So it won't be a spring cleanup.
Yep.
Be in the fall if it gets budgeted. So.
And then the Bedford Business Association, they're going to be doing their golf outing on May 21st over at Bedford Hills. If you want information, call 734-850-2200 or just Google Bedford Business Association. So it's getting that time of the
very
year. And
Sounds good.
have a
Greg?
great
anything else?
afternoon there, Greg.
So on the real quick on the cleanup, you said go to the website to see what you can bring because I know
Right.
they do a tire and rubber one.
yeah,
That's not
the
this,
Drain
right?
Commission's
Is that
going to do
different?
one up for
Yeah.
the tire. We're not doing tires this year down
Yeah.
in Bedford.
That was a
so-
grant we had
Okay.
when we took on all those tires. Al,
Yeah.
he loaded them.
Oh, what a day. Me and Damon ceased.
You mean
Our
Damon-
volunteers
you mean
didn't show
Damon-
up.
You mean Damon and I?
Yeah. I
You
said
say
Damon.
Yeah, but
Damon.
you
It's
should have
Damon
seen
and
Al's
I.
lats after that day, though. He was just,
That's
I
right.
mean, he was swollen
Yeah,
from
the
throwing
six-pack.
those.
Oh, wait,
yeah.
that was your scar. That was
Brony, you want to go in with the Bears? Let's
That
do
would
it.
be a good show.
I know.
I
it
think
would
we
be.
should do that.
It would be.
Bear wrestling with
Well, cool.
Pirrone.
See, what I always have to.
Well, we're going to go ahead and wrap
Yeah,
it up.
no, we ain't wrapping it up.
Thank you all for tuning in. It was a great show. Jacob Supply, check them out. Indian
Barron's
Creek
Insurance.
Zoo,
Yeah.
Zoo, not shoe. Indian Creek Zoo, check them out. And Barron's Insurance,
Lot to do with
check
the
them
zoo.
out.
Love those guys.
Have a great week. Talk to you soon.